Welcome back to City Mazda Stadium, the home of the 2019 Australian Lacrosse Association Under-15 National Tournament. I'm your commentator, Tim Kennedy, and welcome back to the last game of today's slate, the last of the minor crossover games. Today, we've got the Phantoms now taking on the Northern Warriors from Victoria. So it's South Australia versus Victoria. If you're just at work, if you're stuck at work and you want to watch some lacrosse, jump on board, have a look. If you're back in Victoria, jump on board again and support your Victorian side. The winner of this game is going to go on to play the Southern Braves for 5th spot. And second place is going to fall back. The loser of this game is going to fall back. And they're going to be taking on the Northern Thunder in a battle for 7th spot. So both of these sides have taken conversing ways to get here. So you can hear the crowd starting to fire up. Both sides have taken conversing ways to get here. Of course, the Phantoms finished third in their pool. Fell short of New Zealand and the Southern Cross by a distance. There's a bit of a distance there between those two. Those two are the clear leaders of that pool. The Phantoms coming third, but then claiming this particular spot in this game with a thrilling come-from-behind win over the Thunder yesterday. Whereas the Northern Warriors were stuck in what is appearing to become the group of death. And they were stuck in a pool with the Metro, the Stingrays and the Braves, who all won today. The Warriors put in some fantastic performances but couldn't get over the line with their only win coming against the Mustangs. And they claimed 4th spot. So going to be an interesting game today. With, of course, the Phantom side consisting of a number of players from across a number of clubs here in South Australia. With the South Australian men's side all going through a singular process for selection before ultimately being split across both sides. Of course, the Phantoms are coached by Tony Watts, our great mate, ALN Supremo. Tony Watts, he's coaching the Phantoms. And the Warriors, Duncan McKenzie, is coaching the Northern Warriors. As the Warriors look to get a first look up, and as I say, the Phantoms are a mixture with a number of players representing a number of clubs from Glenelg, Sturt, Brighton, ETP. Oh, ring-a-ding-ding, put that one off the pipe. As the Warriors look to try and get on board on this one early. Burnside as well, also fairly well represented, whereas the Warriors are a mixture of a number of clubs. They're selected based on club lines. The Warriors come from the likes of Melbourne University, Eltham, Brunswick. Great to see some Bendigo people out there, as well as Surrey Park. So that's the lineup for today's game. Should be an exciting encounter as the Phantoms look to clear the ball through Finn White. He clears the ball into their offensive set. As the Phantoms now look to get their first thing. They probably have underperformed from an offensive standpoint. Probably not the level Tony wants to get to with these guys. As the ball continues to kick around, getting everybody a little bit of a touch. The Warriors in particular as well have struggled mightily at the offensive end to put some winning scores on the board, so they'll be looking to try and break those shackles today against a fairly good physical defence from the Phantoms. But that's why we love this tournament. Throws up different connotations every single year. The Phantoms, of course, were in the Final Four last year, falling back a little bit this year, but again, with the young side, they expect to be around for a bit as we have there's a penalty on the play. The dream team duo of Luke Keesing and Ricky Smithson over there in the box, as good as it gets over there. Just taking care of the situation and put in place some order as the ball zings around. And throughout the game today, we will be trying to bring you coverage of the women's major semi-final on the far side with the Fire taking on Waikato Black, the winner to take on the Flames, and a big story emerging from that game with one of the key Flames players potentially out of tomorrow's game due to yellow cards. We will bring you more about that as that comes to light. But potentially a massive story brewing over there on the women's front, as the Warriors managed to kill the penalty, kill that particular man up and look to clear the ball. Big shout out to everybody in Facebook land who's watching. As the Warriors kick the ball forward into their offensive set now. Looking to get everybody touched. Looking crisp with the ball movement as they look to go on the inside. Rip that one wide, and that's a fantastic goal there to Talvin Tibb from the Eltham Panther. Stick and won that past the Phantom there. And that's a really fantastic offensive set from these guys as they were able to work the ball around. As they were able to work the ball around and make their way to the inside. Drew the Phantom defence in, and then were able to leave Tibb on the inside, who took the ball and made a fantastic finish there. As the Warriors score first, as you can see, just searching, looking for the way through as they find the ball on the inside. Tibb drawing players, ripping that one low, and that's a fantastic finish, and not a lot Jeremy Ninio could do about that one. Scratching around like chooks at the moment in the middle as the ball's loose, 3-on-3 as they try and win the possession of the ball, of course, for those who are new to the sport. Until someone takes possession, all the attacking and defensive players you can see on the left and right aren't released. As the ball we now push forward. Phantoms now looking to try and find a leveller as they kick the ball around. Just getting everybody a touch at the moment. As I say, the Phantoms have enjoyed a pretty good week at the moment, but they needed to come back yesterday to make their way through to the grand final, make their way through to today's particular game, claiming third place in Pool D with their big win yesterday against the Thunder. As the Phantoms take the ball high. Of course, the Phantoms would have to have been buoyed by the Stingrays' comeback. If you're just joining us from earlier today, the Stingrays came back from 4 goals down in the last quarter to prevail and proceed to tomorrow's final with an upset win over the Southern Cross in sudden victory, where they will take on the Western Metro, who took care of New Zealand 13-7 in a game that was closer than than the score looked, with the score tied at 6-all early on in that game. The ball now kicks around to the Phantoms as they're trying to find their way through. Going for the all or nothing check, and a terrific save by Andy Pham. As the boys scratch around trying to recover possession of the ball. The Phantoms look to press as the Warriors look to clear the ball out, and that's a really good clear there by Toby Templeton. Ball loose. This is hot now for the Phantoms if they don't corral the ball and get the ball out fairly quickly. Ball bobbling around, ball and bouncing around. As the Warriors are going to get an opportunity here to try and see if they can extend this margin early on in this game. The ball kicked around, everyone getting a look at the moment, still playing 6 on 6, still early on this one. There's an update from ground number 2. The score over there is still tied at 0-0 early in that game, with the Fire taking on Waikato Black for a spot in the women's final. As the Warriors look to kick the ball around to everybody. Everyone's still getting a touch, not in any particular great save there by the Phantoms as they step outside. They're just going to bring the ball out to the side here so the Phantoms can kick off. If you're just tuning in, say good day, let us know where you're from. As the Phantoms clear the ball, they've got a man advantage if they can draw the 2-on-1, and they can find that as they kick the ball across the front. Unable to do anything with that. That's Sam Hissey with the ball, looking to try and feed the ball through, but the Phantoms will recover the ball as they kick the ball around. Great back roll from Hissey. Hissey with the rip. Pham gets a piece of that, kicks that ball out. It's a hot start here between the Phantoms and the Warriors. Helder pressing there in defence as they look to rip the outside. Bang! Cameron Elsden says, get in that cage. Puts that one over the top. can see it. We see there's a just trying to timeout on the field. We're just going to want to have a bit of a chat here as we are 8 minutes into this, still early on in this game between the Phantoms and the Warriors. The Phantoms early in this one between the Phantoms and the Warriors. If you are just tuning in, big g'day. To everyone out there in Facebook land. The Warriors leading this one by a score of 1-0. So a big day of action today. This is the last game of the day, and if you haven't caught up on the happenings for today, the Presidents registered their first win. The Presidents registered their first win of the day with a big win over the Mustangs. We then had the major semi-finals with the Metro progressing and the Stingrays getting up over the Cross in sudden victory. And the Braves have just finished their game. They've defeated the Northern Thunder by a score of 13-2. In the women's front, the Lightning got over a feisty Hurricanes outfit earlier today to win by 3. Whilst in the other minor semi-finals earlier this morning, the Ice defeated Waikato Gold and the Storm rolled the Comets. The Flames beat the Stars in the major semi-final earlier today, and they're through to the grand final. And of course now on the other ground, the other grand final spot will be determined between the Fire and Waikato Black. As the Phantoms now just trying to searching for that goal to try and get themselves on the board to kickstart this game for them offensively. Again, everybody having a look, but the Warriors' defence in their bright burnt orange outfits certainly looking like it's holding. As Hissy can't quite grab the ball. Ball's been tried to pick up by Brody Hoyle. He can't hold it. Ball still in dispute. Lucas Hope Rojas getting back to cover that. Looks to throw to Pham, but throws it high. Pham can't grab it. And again, ball goes out of bounds. Ball stopped there by our wonderful photographers. Again, X Photography and Eagles Lax Photos. Just search Eagles Lax Photos on Facebook and also search X Photography, and you'll get all the wonderful photos that they've had from every game that's gone on this week. So some really great, really fantastic action shots there. Can I get that charge? See what I can do. I don't think there's a lightning connector. Does Steve have one? I'll have a look. As the Phantoms now press the ball back forward into attack. Over on ground number 2, Waikato have scored the opening goal of that game as Waikato Black lead that one by a score of 1-0 over the Fire. The ball continues to zing around. The Phantoms with the ball. The Warriors pressing. Great defence. Searching defence there. Kicks the ball across the top to Skiteri. Skiteri can't put it through. Great stop by Pham. The Phantoms are coming up goose eggs at Snake Eyes at the moment. Can't seem to breach this Warrior defence as the Warriors are out now. That's Dom Gibbs with the ball. Kicks the ball back around the top. Ball's bouncing and lost. Will McIntosh recovers the ball. Looks to try and kick the ball high again. That's Toby Templeton back across the top over to Dom Gibbs. Back around the top. As they just sort of touch, everyone getting a touch at the moment. No real footwork, no real movement from either offense here, it must be said at the moment as they have a look. As Marcus Bottrell tries to create something, but that looks like it's going to go out of bounds. Just touched off a Phantom stick. Ball back in play now. Christian McKenzie up to Dom Gibbs. Dom Gibbs from the Brunswick Lacrosse Club. Nice pick there. He's called a moving pick, so the ball's going to go the other way. Finn White with the ball. He's ready to go. Looks to clear the ball. Looking to try and take advantage here of the transition play. Looks like Bryce Summerton's going to get across to cover that off. Ball in dispute there. Not in a good place at all for the Warriors as the Warriors look to try and find it. As that's The ball ends up in Hope Rojas' stick. So he kicks the ball across the back to Fam. Fam looking to try and clear for the Warriors. Looks to pop the ball up, kicks the ball across the top. Over the Warriors, and they're out into their offense. Not really hitting any great heights early in this one. Just seems to be an element of reluctance on the part of both offenses to really take the game on. As they look to push the ball down now into the bottom corner. Will McIntosh with the ball, kicks the ball, starts to kick the ball back high again. Nice cut there on the inside by Christian McKenzie, but they couldn't find him, and that's a turnover. So the ball now goes the way of the Phantoms. Looking to try and get the ball out. Tries to recover the ball. Gets the ball out, and he is out. Warriors, be careful here. They've gone offside. Steps on the inside wide, puts that one high. No, it's not wide, sorry. That's Pietro Rugai. Puts that one high, and the Warriors have gone offside. The ball now comes back in, so we're going to get a first opportunity here to have a look at the Phantoms man upset. Kick the ball around a little bit to everybody. Everyone in the game getting the touches. They're starting in a 1-3-2. They rotate through the middle and they end up in a 1-4-1. Looks for the shot. Great piece. Defense there from Kane Paris. The Warriors look like they might be able to kill this off if they can get the ball back, but the Phantoms are all over this. Great little tuck and roll there from Oliver Walsh. Just steps on the inside. Over to Hissy. Hissy kicks the ball across to the far side. Puts that one low. That's another great save by Fam. Fantastic effort by Fam so far in this one. Back. Kicks the ball through the back. The ball's loose. Fam back with possession of the balls. The Warriors look like they're going to be able to get out of this again here. Less than a minute to go in this one. Clock nearly on the field. You can expect the great lumbering Rick Smithson to join us shortly with the clock as the Warriors throw the ball across the field. As the ball looks like it's going to beat them, and it is, and the Phantoms are going to get another opportunity here. As Anthony Green picks up the ball, brings the ball back in, sneakily trying to get the ball back into his offensive half. Warriors are going to want to be careful, though, as he steps back in. Of course, quick restarts back in play here. So, of course, they can restart whenever they want, and if the defender hasn't gotten back the requisite 5 yards and he attempts to play him, well, then there is a delay of game penalty. So they're going to want to be careful there, just for those watching at home, as the Phantoms now look to kick the ball around. The clock is on the field. Phantoms are going to have to go. Scuteri runs through a couple of players. Gets the ball up high. Clock's on. Not really doing much, and time's going to get away from them. As Pietro Rugai puts that one high in the top left-hand corner, but the clock beat him by a second. That will not count. And it is quarter time here in the minor crossover game between the Warriors and the Phantoms. With it being a quarter of goalies, with Talvin Tibb the only goal scorer so far for the Phantoms, for the Warriors. Where the Phantoms still sitting on no goals. Andy Phams had a fantastic quarter for the Warriors in the cage. This is our lone goal from the quarter. A really nice finish as he put that one bottom right. Talvin Tibb, the Eltham Panther, zipping that one through the bottom right. As it is quarter time here. On the far ground, Waikato leading that one over there by a score of 2-1. A minute and a half to go in that game, in that first quarter. So Waikato Black leading the Fire, that one by a score of 2-1. So use this opportunity as a big shout out here to say we'd zoom up and show you that game, but that's in a timeout as well, so nothing much happening on ground number 2. For those of you who are joining us, big shout out to big hello to everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you here. Wonderful to have you here and watching this. It's the ALA Under 15 tournament. I'd like to give this opportunity to give a big shout out to our broadcast partner, the Australian Lacrosse Network, as well as our tournament sponsors, Living Choice Residential Communities, as well as the City of West Torrens. Thank you very, very much. All of your support to our great game certainly doesn't go unnoticed, and we very, very much appreciate your consistent assistance with tournaments like this. So it's the Under 15 Nationals. It's without a doubt, unashamedly, our favourite tournament of the year. As you can see up on ground 2, we are back underway over on ground 2, and we have a goal scored by the Fire to tie that one back up at 2. As the ball is loose and in dispute as the players battle for it. So the Warriors is a push, loose ball push, so the ball is going to go the way of the Warriors. As the ball now back in the Warriors half, just getting ourselves back up here. As the Warriors now with the ball, looks to step onside there, being nudged into the crease. That's a really good call. All over that. The ball's going to start just out the side, so when there's an infraction like that, the ball gets away from the cage and it usually starts goal line extended. Interesting one there with Will McIntosh. I'll check that out. I'm pretty sure we have a quick restart, so there's potentially a delay game there on the restart, but the Warriors perhaps getting away with one there as the Phantoms proceed to turn the ball over, and we are back deep into attack. Toby Templeton running the ball into attack for the Warriors as he kicks the ball high up to Bottrell. Bottrell with the ball. He's got Juliano there from Bendigo. Great to see some of the Bendigo guys out here today. A couple of Bendigo guys in the squad today, so really good, including him and Matt Saxon. As the ball is loose as it looks to roll over, and we have a delay. We have an over and back, so the ball's going to come all the way back there. So the rule there for the over and back, for those who aren't familiar with that, that's only come in very recently. That's a new rule. Once the ball enters into your attacking quarter, so over the restraining line, it cannot go back out past the halfway line. If it does, it is over and back. So that's why there wasn't much of an attempt there to try and recover that ball once it was missed, and it was plain that it was going to go out back over the halfway line. So as the players continue to press now, we press forward now into the attacking half. The Phantoms looking to try and do some damage and get on the board here. Hissy with the ball, kicks the ball across the top, over to Luke Radonovich. Strapping fellow, this Radonovich. He can try and get into the game a little bit, use his physical prowess, but just throws that one over the top of Skateri. As the Warriors now with possession, and it is fantastic to have, so you get sick of hearing my voice, it's great to have an expert join me, and I welcome Jesse Winnan into the box. Jesse, welcome.
Howdy, how's it going?
Yeah, good, welcome back as well, just having come back from the World Indoors up in Canada. So did you just get back into town?
Yeah, on Wednesday, so back for a couple of days now.
Oh, fantastic. Well, welcome back anyway, and we'll talk more about that tournament a little bit later on. So one of your South Australian sides out here running around, the Phantoms?
Yeah, looking alright. They just can't seem to get one past the goalie.
No, Tham's having a pretty good game so far, isn't he, from the Warriors? He's making a stick his leg out in the right place, and he's doing all the right things. As we get back into the offensive set here for the Warriors as they kick the ball around. Again, everyone getting a touch. Quite a steady offensive set from both sides so far here in this game. Neither side really trying to get out ahead of it. Not really taking the game on, so to speak. Seem content to get everybody a bit of a touch and to try and work their way into the game. Probably reflective of why we have a 1-0 scoreline at the moment, but a clear strategy from both coaches so far.
Yeah, it's good to see teams at this level slow the game down and set up plays and stuff like that, really getting into it.
As the Warriors just seeming to have a little bit more composure with the ball at the moment than their Phantom opponents. As the ball on the outside, they'd be liking this matchup here. Oh, great defense. Just the sheer presence there was enough to force the turnover. as Tibb drops the ball, but he gets the ball back, so the Warriors are not out. They're out of trouble. As there's a little loose ball nudge there. He's going to call in the crease. So the Phantoms are going to get the opportunity to clear that. I mean, if you're the Phantoms, Jesse, and you're looking at that first quarter, you're seemingly hitting a brick wall constantly. Do they persist with their existing structure, or do they try and mix it up a little bit?
I think if they stick at it, eventually they'll put one past him, and then hopefully that opens up the gate to put more past him. So he has made a lot of great saves, and I'm actually quite impressed with his clearing as well. He's very good at clearing the ball. Yeah,
they haven't seemed to have been under too much of a pump, have they, trying to get the ball out? They've done a pretty good job transitioning the ball, whereas the Phantoms at the other end it's been a really impressive Warriors ride so far.
Yeah.
But conversely, the Warriors haven't really made the Phantoms pay, have they? I mean,
no, they haven't. 1-0.
1-0 game, yeah. We're, 20 minutes into this game. So, of course, the winner of this game will go on to play the Braves tomorrow, with the loser taking on the Thunder for 5th to 8th place in this tournament, as Hissy with the ball kicks the ball around. This one is, of course, an over and back, so that's a play on just to see what happens. But so again, for those at home, the ball, rather than just blowing the whistle immediately and giving the ball to the Warriors and potentially not allowing them a fast break, they put their hand up, let everyone know what's going on, see how the play unfolds, and then if nothing comes of it, then they give the ball to the Warriors, which is why there was the delay. Timeout on the play. Duncan McKenzie just not happy with what he's seeing. He's going to have a chat to his players to try and quell them, and that'll give us an opportunity to touch base with the indoors, mate. So what a hell of a trip you had over there.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Not a bad effort by the boys.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, obviously the Finland game was the one that sort of knocked you out of contention. There's no room for error when you come from those sorts of lower divisions, is there?
No, there isn't, and yeah, that game was, it's got a little star next to it.
It was an extraordinary game to watch.
Yeah.
There was no shortage of minors and majors from what we could see.
Yeah, I think in total there was something like 92 minutes of penalties in a 60-minute game. So,
which I must admit, and I was watching I mean, you hear the 92 and you go, well, that game's out of control. But then I remember reading an article. I watched the game and I remember reading an article about it when I agree completely what they said. They said it was that sort of minute you would expect a heap of like majors and fights and people being thrown out, but there was none of that.
No, the penalties, a lot of them, the refs couldn't explain them to us.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not 100% sure if it was that game, but there was one that stood out to me, and the opposition player got called for a cross-check, and our player got called for diving, simultaneous penalties. It was like either you hit him or you didn't.
Oh no! Look, what was it like after that game with the Finland guys? I mean, there's obviously it's a brewing rivalry with those guys, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't have a lot to do with the Finland guys.
Yeah, fair enough.
Avoided them.
Yeah, it's but after that, you guys certainly put the head down and got some great results, didn't you?
Yeah, well, apart from that game, I think every other game was over at half time. So.
Yeah. And was it nice to get some revenge on Ireland for 4 years ago?
Yeah, that was good. They weren't a bad side. I think we were a bit better drilled this time around and knew what we were doing. So yeah, it was good to get a win there.
Well, we'll come back to that, more on that, because I certainly want to pick your brain on that. It was a really interesting tournament to watch, and I must admit it was cool to see us playing different countries and that we're used to seeing, particularly in the field version. So we'll come back to that. But so we're back down here now. So we've got 9 minutes to go here in the second quarter. So if you've called that timeout and you're Duncan McKenzie having a chat to the Warriors guys, I mean, what are you trying to drill into the kids at this point?
I think it's just about making the most of the opportunities now. They've been doing really well defensively and shut a team out so far in this game, and they're just not making the most of their opportunities in the offensive half. So I think he'll just be telling them to settle at that last second and bury it.
As we just have a look there, so the women's score, we're looking at still 2-2 over on ground number 2, the major semi-final over there. Again, if you are just joining us, the reason why we're showing you this game was so that we can try and give as many different teams some exposure as we can, rather than showing the same 8 teams on both days. By showing the minor semis today, we'll be able to come out of this and say we've broadcast 16 different teams. So that's why we're not showing that game. But rest assured, Waikato and Fire fans, we will be showing them tomorrow. So wherever they land, be it the final or the third place game, their game will be broadcast here on the main ground tomorrow. So an exciting game ahead tomorrow for everybody concerned. But we're back here with the Phantoms and the Northern Warriors in a game that's offensively not reaching any particular great heights, but I think that's about as much to do with the defence and the goalkeeping, wouldn't it, Jesse?
Yeah, that's definitely been a defensive game so far. It's looking pretty solid back there.
Yeah, there's some big bodies out there, particularly from the Warriors. I mean, it's nice to see some.
Yeah, I saw a few kids walking around in the crowd from the previous game, and some of them were hot. I was like, "Jeez."
It's something about the water up at Eltham, I swear. It's what you obviously hung out with a few of the Eltham boys lately.
Yeah.
They're a different breed out there.
They are a different breed, that's for sure.
Breed them big.
Yeah.
So big shout out to any of the Eltham boys that are watching.
And weird. They're big and weird.
Look, and this is where those boys end up from. They all start as Warriors at one point in their career, so. They'd be keen. They'd be fancying themselves as a chance here to run the table for the next 2 days, and potentially set themselves up. And you having just going through, obviously pushing to 9th, when you're going through that process, as a part of that, as we just see if there's anything can come from that. No, Fam's all over that again. Your thought process when you know you can only go to a certain point, do you take anything out of sort of getting to 9th to roll into the next 4 years?
Yeah, so for us, obviously, once we lost that second game and 9th was the best we could do, we just wanted to be the first Australian team to go through a tournament only losing one game.
Yep.
So I imagine in tournaments like this one here as well, as soon as that's the best you can do, well, that's what you're aiming for. So.
Yep. Will you take something out of that, though? Because you look at it, I draw the analogy here with a Warriors side like this. The Warriors, young side growing into next year, if they can run the table and snag 5th, is that something that in your mindset you go, well, great, that's going to be a platform for us, sort of put a pep in your step moving forward?
Yeah, something to try and improve on the following year, so...
Yeah. There's a penalty on the play there, so that's young Will McIntosh taking a compulsory drinks break as the ball just zings around at the moment. So again, we're going to get a look here at the Phantoms man up, but unable to do anything with it again as Mr. Watts lets his... I don't know, I think he let his thoughts be known with that kick. That was a glorious shot, just quietly, straight between the sticks.
I think that was a grumpy kick.
It looked like a grumpy... I think he went 3 metres out of his coach's box to kick it.
He did.
So when you watch this back later, Tony, we do love you. Nice kick. As the ball kicks forward into their attacking end now, no pun intended, to the Warriors. As the Warriors are now going to look to try and kill the penalty, which they have now done. Across the top here to Toby Templeton. Had a potential opening there as the Phantoms defence seems to be holding at the moment. Talvin Tibb, the lone player on the field to tickle the twine so far. Another turnover. Unforced errors, Jesse. They can kill you, can't they?
Yeah, there's been a few.
If we just get an update on that on the far side, the Fire leading that one by a score of 4-3. As I say, a big shout out to our interns today who are quietly doing a great job, quietly running the show at the moment.
Yeah, you got a good little setup up here.
Yeah, they're doing all right, aren't they? Our average age has plummeted by about 20 years. So we've got Izzy and Nick over there running the show, doing everything. So this has been entirely produced by them at the moment. Gilly's somewhere else doing something else. Gilly's become our runner, so he's done a great job finding me a phone charger. Most productive thing he's done today, I reckon. We love Gilly. As the ball's just coming back in now, the Phantoms are sitting there with Skiteri at X. Kicks the ball back across the top, trying to get everybody a touch. As we are the man up again, so they're going to get a do-over here on their failed man up attempt on the last occasion. A little bit of movement. They like to swing the players through the middle, and they're ending up in a 1-4-1. Crease players probably not damaging enough. They're sort of stuck in a little bit of no man's land, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I reckon something from the previous game is teams were testing out the bounce shots from a bit further out.
It was bouncing, wasn't it?
And some great shots there, and I haven't seen any of those in this game so far, so that might be something for the coaches to think about.
Yeah, they definitely need to be utilising what they can there with that deck, if they can hit the deck and kick it up.
Yeah.
Particularly with someone like Fam, who's doing a fantastic job for him in the cage, and Jeremy Nino down the other end's doing a really, really good job as well. As they turn the corner there, and there's a Ward, so the ball's going to go the other way. Warriors going to get an opportunity here as Brody Hoyle runs over to take the ball. He's a big boy, Brody. Brody Hoyle from another one of those Eltham boys from the Eltham Lacrosse Club. They stand out with their very, very vivid black and gold helmets. Few Eltham players in this team. Eltham traditionally being one of the bigger providers to the Warriors over the years. As the Phantoms recover possession of the ball, and they look to try and clear. We have an offside. So the ball is going the way of the Warriors. The Phantoms have stepped offside. Umpire Luke Keesing all over that. All over that. Nothing gets past umpire Luke Keesing as he's just stopping the clock, and that's a new one.
Probably could have been a penalty there if they noticed it earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always an interesting one when it's a delayed pickup.
Yeah.
Clearly offside, clearly a penalty, but sometimes can't be seen. Controversial call. But no, I think we've got a timeout on the play as... Got a timeout? Yeah, a couple of minutes to go. So it looks like there's another timeout. Both sides look to try and get together. Still a very, very low-scoring game at 1-0. So yeah, highlights over there in Canada?
Probably just our play, our games. Apart from that Finland game, every game we played was a highlight. It was a lot of fun playing with that group of guys, and what we brought to the table was some pretty good lacrosse. So
yeah,
it was very enjoyable.
You yourself made sure you go to the back, hit the back of the net a few times through the week?
Yeah, scored a couple of goals. It was nice.
And how good was Matty Taylor, obviously being selected to the President's side?
Yeah.
He had a massive year. And I know he came down and played for Eltham from New South Wales. Great for New South Wales across to have him in their mix, but just how great was he through the week?
He was very good at finishing and putting the ball in the back of the net. If he could catch, he probably would have scored 30 more goals. But I think his vision's going in his old age, so catching the ball was difficult. No, he had a great tournament. We had a very strong left side in offence, so with him and Marty Hyde, Lucas Wood, and Caleb Hall coming down.
Gee, Marty doesn't mind a bit of a dive, does he?
No,
get him within about 4 metres of the cage, you know he's throwing his body. Absolutely willingly.
He definitely enjoyed diving across the goals.
As the Fire have scored another goal on ground number 2, so the Fire are out to a 4-2 lead. With about 2.5 minutes to go in that game down there. As we're about 2 minutes and 40 seconds here in our game between the Phantoms and the Warriors. Low scoring game at the moment. Another timeout called as they try and have a look at what systems and structures in their setup are. Ball sitting here now with Marcus Bottrell. No penalties on, so we are all even. As the boys just zinging that around at the moment again, getting around the table. A little bit of movement off ball. Definitely the defence is in control of this game at the moment, as that's another unforced turnover. As they turn the ball over and the ball's now going back towards the Phantoms' waist to see if they can create something here.
Yeah, they'll be looking to tie this one up now. Can they have... another turnover.
Seems to be yo-yoing quite a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. So how many games have these guys played already so far? This day 5?
So this is day 6. So this will be their 5th game. That's right. Yeah. So again, for those just tuning in, so the Warriors have gotten here in this situation by finishing 4th in what has turned out to be the pool of death, with, as I say, the top 3 in that division all winning today, all claiming the W. So they all went through, and then the Phantoms finished 3rd in their division, eking out a tight win yesterday against the Northern Thunder. Came from behind late to squeak that one out, but at the moment, if the scores stay the same, they'll meet the Thunder again tomorrow. Of course, the Thunder are awaiting the loser of this game tomorrow as they continue to kick the ball around again. Everybody getting a touch. Strong move there from the top there from Dom Gibbs. Back over the top to Tibb, the lone goal scorer in this game. Really strong defence by Bryce Summerton. He's got an option high if he can find it. He's in close. He can get the shot off. Rips that one. Ring-a-ding, ding, ding, ding. Put that one off the pipe. Come on, call the pipe police. As they look to try and get that one out. That's Christian McKenzie with the shot. Putting that one off the pipe from Melbourne, from the Eltham Lacrosse Club. As the ball now pushes forward. Back into the Phantoms, and they've got the opportunity. They've got a 2-on-1 if they're good enough to find it. Steps on the inside, tries to swim move, but can't take the ball with him as he loses possession of it.
Probably should have shot that one earlier instead of trying to get on the crease there.
Yeah, tried to get a little bit too close, but do you think a part of that is just FAM's game so far, the fact that they haven't been able to break through, that they feel that they need to get on top of him?
Yeah, probably. You don't want to go into half-time without a goal on the board, so
yeah,
they're probably trying to get too close to the goal to have a shot rather than taking the better option, and the ball's going to get there just as quick. You're only a couple of metres further back than
Well, that's right.
and what you're trying to get to. So
It's all placement, isn't it?
yeah,
As again, that's a really strong clear. Loses the ball. Thought he'd gotten through here, but that little combination
oh, they're on here.
with Summerton and Couch. Opportunity here for the Warriors. Great unselfish feed, and the Warriors score their second goal of the game. Christian McKenzie coming up with the chocolates there. Will McIntosh, an unselfish feed across the front of the goals, and that was the sort of break that one of these sides needed.
Yep, not much the goalie could do about that one.
You got to always see that, particularly at this level. Young Will McIntosh had that ability there when he was doing that to transfer the ball across, draw the defender. It's the old 2-on-1s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Create the 2-on-1 and find the guy. No, that was a really, really good goal as the Warriors are out.
I reckon I know a lot of guys who would have taken the shot then.
Actually, yeah, we should do that on the message board if you are tuning in. Tag a mate who wouldn't pass in that situation.
I might not have.
Come on now. What do you mean might? You're taking that shot every time, aren't you?
Yeah.
So back in the middle here.
It's at half time.
As we see on the far, we're going back up onto the top ground here. We're going to keep bringing you the action here as we hit half time at 2-0. As another goal there to the Fire. The Fire seem to be taking control up there. So as we're just going to catch the dying moments of this game as part of our new two-prong attack to try and commentate as many games as we possibly can do. But for those of you who are tuning in back in Victoria and back in New Zealand, that's the Fire now out by a score of 6-3 on ground number 2 in the dying moments of that game on ground 2. Of course, the winner of that game will proceed to take on the Flames, and we're hearing rumours that there might be a big out for the Flames tomorrow in that final. One of their main players may have been suspended tomorrow due to yellow cards, but we will wait and see how that plays out in the coming. We'll let you know as soon as we hear anything. But not long left over there on ground number 2 as the ball's in dispute at the draw. The Fire come up with possession, but there's a call. The ball's going to go back the way of the Fire by the looks of things. Meg Bone in the middle there. She's had a fantastic tournament for the Fire. Can't be too long left over there on ground number 2 now. It looks like the clock is on by the looks of things. Yeah, clock's on. So we're in the dying seconds there as the Fire look to try and extend that lead. They cut the ball across the top, and that's another goal. That could be an absolute backbreaker. That could be an absolute backbreaker for Black as they extend their lead now out to 7-3. Just on the death now. 2 goals in the final minute of that half, of the half over there. Looks like that might have put in place what might be an insurmountable margin with the Fire there holding on to that result. So again, the winner will go through to the final tomorrow. Loser goes back to the third place game. So we are back in the middle. The clock is definitely on the field there. So for those of you back home, we are trying to bring you the coverage of that because we know you're definitely curious with how that's going. So if you are watching as well, it'd be great to hear from you all. If you are a few Eltham fans out there, which is great. If you're here in SA and you're stuck at work, you need to try and get away, then look, by all means, jump on board. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're watching. We'll try and give you a shout out during the commentary if we can. There's a game back in the middle, and that's half-time over there on ground number 2, and that's going to be the Fire leading that by a score of 7-3. We're going to take a quick break. We'll recap when we come back. You're watching the Australian Lacrosse Network. Welcome back to City Mazda Stadium, the home of the West Adelaide Football Club. And of course the home of the 2019 Australian Lacrosse Association Under-15 National Tournament. We are in the last game of the day, the last of the minor crossover games, and the boys, before we get into this one, on the far side we have the last of the major crossover games for the girls between the Fire and Waikato Black. The Fire are leading that one by a score of 7-3. The battle for the flame emoji is well and truly alive, folks. It could be the Fire and the Flames tomorrow. The battle for the emoji. We have been frothing for that one for a while. But back over here, I'm joined in expert commentary by the great man, Jesse Winnan. Jesse, 2-zip, low-scoring defensive slugfest.
Yeah, so far it has been. Hopefully there'll be a few more goals this quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's sort of a balancing act, isn't it? I mean, we're trying, obviously giving these guys an opportunity, and obviously young and they're developing, but do they start to take the game on a little bit more in this half?
I definitely think so. I think at any level, when the time's right, you take the game on. I think we'll see that fairly soon.
Yeah, you would hope that they would tire a little bit more, and then they'll sort of get stuck in and they'll have a crack. So.
Yeah, well, I think if the Warriors, if they put on one more, then the Phantom might take a few more risks.
Yeah, I think they almost need to, because I mean, look, like you say, that comes back to that earlier question, doesn't it? How strategically how much do they change everything?
Yeah, 2-zip it looks really good for the Warriors, but one goal and then it's all of a sudden a one-goal game.
Yeah.
So, and it might happen very soon.
Hissy over across to Scuteri. Ball hits the deck. Great pickup, though. Great collection by Peter Helder as he looks to turn the Jets on and clear it out, but he's being escorted from the defensive half by two Phantoms players as they look to try and pinch the ball back. Great pickup there, though, on the outside by Marcus Bottrell. Turns on the Jets. He's got an opportunity here. He's got someone on the corner if he can find him. And, look at that. What a fantastic finish from Will McIntosh. Swings and roundabouts. McIntosh unselfishly giving up a goal earlier has just had the favour returned, and nice little burst of speed there, Jesse.
Yeah, that was a real good play. It looked like he took the game on there, and that resulted in a goal. So now I think going the other way, the Phantoms are going to have to take a few risks, because 3-0 is a bit worse than what 2-0 was looking.
Yeah, it's certainly, they just need to break that. You feel that once they get one through, then the floodgates will start to open a little bit for them moving forward. But Marcus Bottrell was the key there. He had that ball at the halfway line and dropped the Jets and was gone, wasn't he?
Yep, but it started with another mistake down that end where the attacker didn't catch the ball before he shot it.
Big hello out there to Beck Hoyle. Great to see you tuning in all the way from Melbourne. On the way home from work, we hope traffic's not too bad over there. So great, thank you for joining in. If you're a Warriors fan, tune in, let us know. A lot of Eltham fans out there, as I say. G'day to Harley Loudall and Pauline Marr, as well as Michael Audie as well. I'm sure you're a fan of the goalkeeping save, so fantastic to see you there. And of course, it's not all one-way traffic. Hello to Spilsy, who I'm sure that's probably not your real name, but we'll take it anyway, Spilsy. So thank you for tuning in. And if you are just watching, shout out, let us know where you're watching from, let us know who you're going for. Do you think the Phantoms will get back into this game? Or do we think the Warriors are on their way? Nice little step there from Anthony Green from the Brighton Lacrosse Club, but the defence again from the Warriors more than up to the task. They've been pretty good all week. It's their size has been... Just their size is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a few big boys running around.
Never forget that. My first under-15 tournament when I was 13 and I rocked up. And as soon as you rock up, all the Victorian teams rocked up, had someone with a beard.
Yeah.
When you're 13, there's no bigger statement than that. Just go, I'm not ready. That time it was those Metros guys. We always thought there was funny water out in the Metros territory.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I never played under-15s. I started as an under-17. And I remember one of the state tournaments I went to, I think it was both the Victorian teams were massive. One of them had, is it the Rodriguez brothers?
Yeah.
And I was this scrawny little kid, and then one of those blokes is running at you. You just want to curl up in a ball.
Certainly not the introduction that you want, is it? As the Warriors now are going to get an opportunity here on a man up. They're going to get a free clear and they're going to take the ball out. I think it might have just been a push there. I suspect that's just a 30-second foul. As they're just clearing the ball out now. That's Neil Edward from the Melbourne University Lacrosse Club. Great to see a couple of Melbourne Uni guys running around. Always great to see some of these other clubs getting involved. So awesome.
Is this the first look at the Warriors man up?
I think it might be. I certainly think it might be. I can't remember too many man ups at all in this game, to be honest with you. The refs have
haven't got enough guys on the field to start with.
So that's not a good man upset at all.
Not a good start to your man upset.
You really hope it's not. No, it is a 30-second play, so they've now got to execute in 5 seconds. As the Phantom is now released, that ball's been put hard right by Christian McKenzie. I think they might want to have that man up back again. What do you reckon?
They played most of it man down, I reckon.
As they kick the ball around. Big hello to David Chinsky back out there. I know he's tuning in from WA.
It's a good check.
He's an old Eltham boy. Yeah, really good check as the Phantoms there, and the crowd's starting to get into this. They need to get a goal here. They've got a nice little crowd here sitting in front of us in the grandstand. Haven't had too much to cheer about in terms of goals just yet, but they're keen to get involved if they can, so looking forward to something. And big pass there from James Howe, but that's been cut off. The Warriors are going to get another opportunity there, and that's a terrific finish from Christian McKenzie. His second of the game. What do you think on the clear there? Perhaps sort of not really shouldn't be throwing the ball through the middle?
No, definitely not. I reckon he had guys free on the other side that he could have used and they could have run the ball out. So it's probably just a brain fade then.
Yeah, you're always told about that, and particularly from a young age when you're trying to clear the ball and you get under pressure. Do not throw the ball towards the middle of the field.
No, I got taught just put your head down and run.
Run as hard and as fast as you can. As you have a timeout here as we just move up to have a look at the action on field number 2. As the Fire are leading that one by a score of 7-4. We are in the third quarter as we just have a quick look at... There's a replay there. There's a goal that's been scored up on the field there. The Fire extending that margin out to 7-4. That's a nice little goal there. They're going to be looking to try and make their way through to tomorrow's final. So fantastic effort there by the Fire at the moment, but Black aren't out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Black in fact find themselves in this semi-final off the back of a huge comeback against the Ice, where they were down by a similar margin to pinch that. So just a quick correction, it's 8-4 to the Fire up on ground number 2 as we're back here in the middle. So again, from a Phantom strategy standpoint, yeah, you're right, Jesse. They need to start to take the game on a little bit and mix it up.
Yeah, definitely. And I reckon the fan's probably a great thing for them. I love playing on a field that's got the women's field marked out on it because, as soon as you're inside that outside arc, you can let the ball go. And I reckon the way some of these kids shoot these days, like here, he should be shooting that.
Oh, there we go. Ring-a-ding-ding, and Hissy's giving it to the crowd. He's trying to fire the crowd up. Sam Hissy turns around with arguably one of the reactions of the tournament so far. He gets the Phantoms on the board there. What a terrific face-off. As you can see, right off the face. Ball pops out the middle all day. Hissy with the clinical finish top high turns around and he's telling the crowd, isn't he thrilled about that one?
It's definitely one of those goals that gets your team pumped up. So I reckon they'll do a goal again here.
Yeah. A few of the Stingrays boys, I think. Yeah, of course, they're in the final tomorrow. The Stingrays boys sitting in front of us. Starting to fire up, getting behind their stable mates, the Phantoms. That is the one thing about the South Australian sides, isn't it? Because there's that blend, there's that real support between the sides.
Yeah, a lot of the teams get on pretty well.
Which is funny because you wouldn't see that with some of the Vic WA boys because, God no, I wouldn't talk to the Thunder for the life. Depended on it. Hello to any of my Thunder mates that are out there.
I reckon it's a recent thing. It wasn't like that when I was coming up.
There's the ball now. The fan and that crowd's definitely starting to get more vocal in this one. They've been fired up there with Finn White with the ball, kicks the ball across the top. You sense a little bit of kick in their step at the moment.
Yeah, they're definitely moving with a bit more energy now. They get another one here and they're right back in it. Only bring it back to a 2-goal margin. That was a bit ambitious, I reckon.
Yeah, that's that fan you were talking about. Yeah. They heard you from here, didn't they?
But I reckon you still want to be more than 45 degrees in.
I think the scorers have forgotten that the Phantom button's broken. So it is 4-1. Oh, there we go. They heard me come. They heard it coming. Thanks, guys, over there, if you're watching on the scorer's bench. As here we are, 7 minutes to go, halfway through this third quarter. And we have a flag down on the players. We're just waiting for the call. Phantom man up's going to get an opportunity here. Slash 1 minute. So an opportunity here for the Phantoms to do some damage. As the Fire score again on ground number 2, they're out to a 9-4 lead. Also shout outs to our producer extraordinaire, Izzy Lunig, who's running the show here from Burnside, doing a fantastic job. One of our sensational interns today. She's doing an awesome job. As I say, no sign of our usual producer, Gilly. I think he's finally gone mad and walked out the back of the stadium, leaving Izzy to run the show, and Izzy's doing a sensational job. So great effort, Izzy. We'll put a photo later on of you running the show and telling us what we can and can't do. And of course, with the internship program, with all the nationals, we're going to try and get some interns, get some people involved, show them how all this show works. So if you're keen to get involved, shoot us a message. When we come out to do a national in your state, we'll try and get you involved. As the Phantoms, again, no side really taking advantage of their man upsets, are they?
There was a good check there by the long pole. Just got on the bottom hand as he was passing it.
Which is funny, because it's almost a case of, it's aggressive defence to a degree, but as an offensive player, you don't want to get that close, do you?
No, not in a man up.
No.
Looked like the Warriors were pushing out a bit there, so they did really well to cause a turnover.
Opportunity here on the quick restart to just go. He's pulling him away from the cage. Excellent refereeing.
Oh, he's dropped it.
Cody Watts trying to get the guys across the line here, calling for the comeback. Story of the day for South Australia. If you missed the earlier results, the Stingrays from South Australia are through to tomorrow's final. Oh, someone sending out the Kim Jong-un on the phone. Someone sending out a long-range missile there from well beyond the fan. Puts it a little bit wide. But now, if you are joining us, the Stingrays came back from nowhere. 4 goals down in the last quarter to prevail in sudden victory, giving Nigel Morton and his Chargers an opportunity to end a 29-year drought tomorrow when they try and pinch the under-15s crown for the first time against the Metro. So the Phantoms would surely have to take something from that, surely, wouldn't they, Jesse?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, it's a long game, so it's only a couple of goals, and you saw with that face-off you can score a goal in 5 seconds.
Absolutely. As we kick the ball around, back to Skatiri. A little bit of zing on that. But they recover the ball, pass the ball around a little bit. Everyone's still getting touched. Hissy wants an opportunity. That one sprays a little wide, but that's okay. Got the backup. That's good offense. You don't mind those shots. At least you're having a dip, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's probably a little further out than what I'd recommend. I don't know about outside the restraining line, but...
Oh, he liked what he saw, young Pietro.
I'm guilty of it, so...
I think you've still given me my commentary highlight when I think I called one of your lasers that went global down at Footscray.
A few years ago, was that against New Zealand? Yeah,
it was. Yeah, that's right. We got picked up by Lax. I think it was the Lacrosse Network.
Yeah,
and that was you putting one of those. Yeah. You had a cracking week that week.
Yeah, that was good. It was probably the best field lacrosse I've ever played.
Yeah, you definitely broke West Australian hearts that year. That's for sure. As we have a timeout here that's going to be called by the Warriors, just to try and talk it over a little bit and steady his troops. 4 minutes to go in this quarter. Let us know where you're watching from, people. Tune in if you're tuning in, and on the far ground, from what we can see, the Fire are leading Waikato by a score of 9-4. The Fire have possession of the ball at the moment, so they're going to be looking to try and clear the ball. Only a few minutes to go there in the third quarter, about 4.5 minutes to go with the Fire still leading at the moment. So at this stage, if the results hold firm, then it'll be the Fire progressing through to the final. As we just had a look there, Waikato Black looked like they had a goal taken off them, and subsequently a turnover, which is what's gotten the Fire out. So the Fire now deep into attack, looking to move the ball around. Looks like there's a push there, so an opportunity here again from the Fire. Again, use this opportunity to say a big thank you to our sponsors, the Australian Lacrosse Association, our broadcast partners, I say it all day, but we do tend to push the envelope here at the ALN. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but the ALA stand by us and let us do our thing. So a massive thanks to the ALA. Also Living Choice, big supporters of lacrosse here in South Australia. And also the City of West Torrens again as well. And of course, and a big little thank you as well to West Adelaide Footy Club for hosting and assisting in putting this event on. Have you played in front of one of these stadiums, Jesse, or sort of come along? How's the atmosphere in these venues?
Yeah, actually, I think it was 2017. I was on a SNFL list for the year, and I got to play a couple of games of reserves, and the atmosphere for those games was pretty good. Actually, the trial games were probably even better. We got a lot of fans out for trial games, but I think it's one of the fundraisers the club did was a player auction, so a lot of people came out to see what the boys were doing and work out who they were going to bid on. But the atmosphere at the footy games is pretty good. It'd be great if lacrosse could match it one day.
Oh, wouldn't it, to try and, these are the venues that have the capacity to hold this sort of stuff. What do you reckon? We could auction Gilly out for a night. We'll see if Holly lets that happen, and we can get Gilly out for a night. So
someone might need their computer fixed.
Well, that's right. Keep your eyes on the prize there, ladies. We might get Scotty Gill out on the market and see what we can fetch for him. He'll fix your Wi-Fi. As the ball's now at X for the Warriors, they continue to kick the ball around. Everybody just getting a touch still at the moment. Not any particular rush at the moment. Still plenty of time to go in this one with 3 minutes to go in the third. Fire still leading 9-4. There's been a goal scored over on the other ground as Waikato get one back to cut that one back to 9-5. So Waikato Black might be building over there on ground number 2. Warriors still leading this game.
It looks like the Phantoms have gone into a bit of a zone here.
Tony Watts loves the zone. Loves throwing the zone, doesn't he? We know it gave the Metros conniptions last year when Tony dropped that.
Yep.
Dropped the zone. Big fan of it. As interestingly enough, it's forced the stall. Be interesting to see if they're all on the same page here. The stall's being called. So for those at home, so the stall works that there's a general presumption in a game that an offensive team has an obligation to be attacking the cage. If they are attacking the cage, if they're not attacking the cage, the referees can put a stall on, and the stall basically means they've got to get the ball inside their attacking quarter, and they're not allowed to leave the attacking quarter until a goal's scored or ultimately there's a change of possession. So that said, though, it looks like the stall here is clearly off with the change of possession. In addition to that, a foul. So we'll get another chance here at the Phantoms man up. Hissy seems like Hissy did a good shot, Jesse. Would you be trying to sort of free him up on this side for a bomb from the outside?
Yeah, probably. Maybe start the play at X and have him cut down and this corner cut through. He's going to shoot anyway. Oh, I probably should have bounced that.
Yeah, they're not using the deck as much, are they? Like you say, that last game, the bounce was counted for about 5 goals.
Yeah, is it the Braves that was the blue team?
Yeah, that's right.
Phenomenal shots. That was just... It wasn't even super quick, but the change of the ball coming off the ground just fooled the goalie every time. Yeah,
it's got a nice little bit of a... You as an outside shooter would love that, wouldn't it? With the ground like this, you could ping it off the deck and sting some top corners.
I just throw it as hard as I can.
Close your eyes and bang it. The Warriors are now going to be looking to try and kill the penalty. So still off on the box. Just waiting for this to roll over at the moment as the great Luke Keesing just giving some sterling directions there to the Warriors player as he goes on the field. And we're back on all even here with less than a minute to go. Umpire Rick Smith, referee Rick Smithson just starting to limber up to make the jog onto the field. As Tibbs turns the corner, and that's a huge goal. That sucked the life out of this Phantoms crowd as Talvin Tibbs scores his second goal of the game. Comes the corner, and again, that's a real coach killer, isn't it, in that last minute of the quarter?
Yeah, that one, especially when they had the man-up opportunity down the other end and didn't make the most of that, and then turnover the other way, kill the penalty. The 6th man comes on, and then they bury one.
Not a bad little finish, though, as well. Finally, put one down around the feet here and stung a corner. So that's quite a good little finish there from the Northern Warriors. As I say, we're almost at clock on stage here. 3/4 time over on ground number 2.
Is that 5 Eltham goals?
That looks like it's 5.
All 5 goals have come from the Eltham guys.
From the Panther boys. Talvin Tibb, Will McIntosh and Christian McKenzie. That's right, 5 of them. Number of Eltham players. Eltham, very, very strong club in this particular space in the northern suburbs out in Victoria, out in Melbourne. Ball's on the deck. Stick got stuck. Questionable hole. Probably not. Good non-call. As the ball goes out of bounds.
I'd love to get one late here.
They need one late, don't they? Oh, gone for the great big check.
Probably only got about 5 seconds. There's your...
threw it a little bit behind. Did Cameron Elsden, the Red Wing. Ball goes out of bounds. We're sitting at 25 seconds to go here in the quarter. The ball, there's the Warriors. Still enough time for the Warriors if they're quick enough. We'll be approaching about 15 seconds to go. As Tibb turns the corner here, rips the shot, pops it wide. Probably wouldn't have counted. That's three-quarter time here at City Mazda Stadium. It's the Northern Warriors leading the Phantoms by a score of 5-1. Goal scorers, as Jesse points out, 5 Eltham players. 5 Eltham goals to 3 Eltham players. Talvin Tibb and Christian McKenzie with 2 apiece. Will McIntosh has 1. And Sam Hissey has a goal. As we just have a look at some of the highlights here. And this goal in particular, Jesse, was really impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was a real good one.
Will McIntosh there just demonstrating why it's important to be unselfish, having given one up a little bit earlier. And here as well, this is that feed through the middle, turned over. Now the Warriors at this point, you thought, Jesse, starting to break the game open, weren't they?
Yeah, they definitely are. They're running away with it a bit now.
And then this goal, like I say, an instant contender. You could almost, someone make a gif out of this. Sammy's turned around, look at him giving it to him. He's thrilled.
He was pretty pumped with that, wasn't he?
Oh, wasn't he happy? That's almost a celebration of the tournament. We should put that out there tomorrow. Anyone on the broadcast, we should have an ALN shirt for the best celebration. So it certainly makes it fun, but you can't get an unsportsmanlike at the same time. So let's be clear. Unsportsmanlikes don't count, so don't be so-and-sos. Just make it a really cool celebration and we'd be keen. So yeah, okay, at this point, Jesse, do you think Tony's sort of saying to the guys we need to start to get after this a little bit more?
Yeah, I think 5-1 down going into the last quarter, you probably loosen the reins a bit as a coach, let them do their thing and see what happens.
Toss a little bit of caution to the wind, do you think?
Yeah, I'd be just going as hard as you can at the goal. If you don't start now, it's probably going to be too late. You got to put a few on early.
So what's so now that you're back, obviously from the indoors, what's the plan now? So obviously a bit of a break from lacrosse for a little while.
I think within the next couple of weeks, our indoor season in South Australia will kick off. So looking forward to that.
So yeah, the Raptors make an appearance again.
Yeah.
They are fair to say they're probably the only standalone box club in the country at the moment.
Yeah, probably.
I know there's a couple of Murphs ones, but they're all linked to clubs, obviously, with the Butters of Brighton.
The Raptors are made up predominantly of Woodville and North Adelaide players. I think we've got a couple of Glenelg guys, and our goalie, I don't think he's associated with any club. So
that's Dylan
Nangle, yeah. He hasn't played field lacrosse for a few years.
So how's that season looking so far? Looking good? Got some good numbers? People putting their hands up at the moment?
Yeah, there's a few new guys who want to come on board, and there's actually a couple of guys who I met at the Worlds. One played for Scotland and one played for England who were interested in coming down for a season, so we'll see if we can fit them in as well.
Oh, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely growing the sport by having international players come down into our little competition.
As the Warriors look to press the ball here. Kick the ball around a little bit to everybody. Everyone again a little bit of a touch as turns the corner. Great save by Nino. Looks pretty confident with the stick in hand, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Certainly not an accident that he finds himself in the cage, no doubt.
No, there's probably a lot of goalies who start off accidentally going into the cage. There's not too many who I think would volunteer to do it.
Oh, look, the ALN is made up of a hell of a lot of goalies, and I'll tell you now, goalkeepers are a different breed.
Yeah.
They are a creatures unto themselves as the ball kicks around. You'd almost have to be to jump in that position and put up with all that sort of stuff, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I did it a few times when I was younger, and I'm glad I'm not in there anymore. The ball is pretty hard.
As the Phantoms now getting everybody a touch again. looking to try and create something, but the Warrior defense, and that's another ward. That's the second ward of the game that we've seen called here on the Phantoms. This time it's Anthony Green who's been whistled.
Got two guys open in the middle here. Oh, that's the worst clear I reckon he's done.
You did sing his praises earlier about his clear, didn't you? You
clearing real well.
That's your fault. You've put the kibosh on him.
Got the flag. Oh, he just couldn't hold on to it.
So there is a flag on the play. That's a hold. So a little bit of an opportunity here for the Phantoms. If they can, they're going to want to be organised to get everyone set. It's only a 30-second penalty, so they're going to want to be quick. As the Warriors madly running to get someone down. There's got too many men on the field.
Too many men on.
So again, another little rule there that even though the ball...
No, I thought he got off before the play started.
Yeah, and it's a trick that Americans fall onto here. That once the whistle's blowing off, it doesn't mean you can step on the field. You need to still substitute as per normal. So an error there from the Warriors has now led a real opportunity here now for the Phantoms as they find themselves ahead on the outside as they try and reach for that. No goal. The crowd thought it was very momentarily. A few screeches, but...
Oh, they've turned it over. They'll have another chance here.
Ball goes out of bounds. An update on the ground number 2. Fire in Waikato. It's 11-7 to the Fire in the last quarter. Still plenty of time over there as Black look to try and work their way back into the game. But for the Phantoms, unfortunately, unable to do anything with that. A tremendous opportunity as both players now return to the game. And we are back at level playing field as the Phantoms now look to try and press. They're going to have an opportunity. Kick the ball around to... That's Finn White, one of their co-captains, being
not too happy with the ref there.
hounded as they couldn't get out the way in time. Finn White throwing the old double duke, not getting out the way. An opportunity if he goes to step. Oh, can't quite keep possession of the ball. That's Pietro Rugai fighting for it if they can. The Phantoms need to come up with this ball if they can. So the ball is going to go the way of the Warriors. So the Warriors are going to get away with one there. They're going to get that break. As the Warriors looking to just slowly run the ball out. Not a particularly quick clear here as the clock just ticks down to 11.5 minutes to go. Still lots of time for the Phantoms here. And there's a throwing a little bit of wood there. Radonovic.
Yeah, probably lucky to get away with that one.
I think he was lucky to get away with that one. Of course, the slashing rules are a little bit... It needs to be a little more controlled than would otherwise be allowed at senior level. So there are some restrictions there. As the Warriors very, very happy to just throw the ball amongst themselves. Looking to try and clear the ball. As they clear the ball out there. Yeah, one of the Warriors has stayed back for them. So no danger of offside. As the Warriors now look just to try and get the ball forward and get themselves into another set. Warriors just peeling back. There is an offside call here. Not sure where that offsides come from. It's too many men on the field. So the Warriors are playing with too many men on the field. So that's the reason for the turnover as they kick the ball forward. That comes across as an offside for those of you that are watching at home because they would have had 7 people in their offensive half as opposed to the 6 that are allowed. As the Phantoms lose the ball, throw the ball away, sitting in the back corner.
If the Phantoms can get a quick one here, the game's not out of reach for them.
No, to make it 3 goals, wouldn't it? I mean, we've still got 10 minutes to go here, so it's a lot of time. But, geez, they wouldn't want to leave it much longer, would they?
No, definitely not. They definitely need to start attacking the cage now.
as they continue to just move the ball around a little bit again. Everybody just getting a touch again with the Phantoms. The crowd urging them to get on with it, trying to find a way to cut through the crowd here, trying to cut through this. As they zing the ball around. Look to go from the outside. Draw. Nearly used that deck, didn't he?
Yeah, not a bad effort.
Long way out, but that's what you're talking about, Jesse. There's that the deck can be used to your advantage, but they've committed the cardinal sin. Nobody backing it up, so the ball's going to be turned over. So again, tomorrow we're going to have a full slate of games as the Phantoms turn the ball over. They've got a man advantage if they can. They kick the ball to Skatiri. Looks across the middle. Draws one. Rips that high. The Phantoms could be back. Are they back in this as Finn White sticks his first goal of the game, and that's their second. And is there hope yet, Jesse?
Yeah, well, that was a really good ride, and then obviously the ball moves faster than your feet, so once they had that overlap, there wasn't much the Warriors could do to catch up to them.
And what was really impressive about that particular goal, I thought, was that he took the check, didn't he? Like, he knew the check was coming, and he held and he got through and pushed through.
Yep, handled the pressure real well.
As we have a timeout on the paddock here. So, again, another opportunity to thank our sponsors, the Australian Lacrosse Association, Living Choice, and the City of West Torrens. So, a big thank you to all of our sponsors and our broadcast partners. As we'll stay here on ground one. Looks like there's a timeout over on ground two with the Fire leading that one by a score of 11-7. So, thank you to our broadcast partners for that. To Living Choice as well. Thank you very, very much. And the City of West Torrens, thank you very much for your support throughout this tournament. Again, big congratulations to Lacrosse South Australia. They've done an amazing job putting this whole week on. Don't know about you, Jesse, but I still think this is probably the best tournament on the calendar. You enjoy the under-15 tournament?
I've usually try and get out and watch a few games each year when it's in South Australia, obviously. So, yeah, I've been to a few of them, and I come out to watch, obviously, the Woodville kids and see how they're going, and it's good to see they're doing well, but it's great to see so many teams out here.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see all of those. Waikato and New Zealand coming out in particular is just fantastic for the sport here in Australia and for back in New Zealand. You add them to the mix, and all of a sudden you say we're running with 20 teams.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Would it be a stretch to host one of these over there?
Oh, look, if anyone's listening, anyone listen to me and my late night ramblings, I think we have to. I think it would be sensational to head over to New Zealand. And we'll certainly continue to beat that drum. We think it would be a sensational look for everyone to get over there and get involved. And we might have to sign up to a new Wi-Fi provider, but that can be Scotty's problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, and look, and they're doing really well. I mean, you've got Waikato Black over there at the moment fighting for a spot in the finals. They won the tournament 2 years ago.
Yep.
New Zealand made their first grand final semi-final this year in the boys' side of the draw, which is sensational again for them. So yeah, no, look, I think it's sensational, this whole tournament, and the players. They're all super keen and doing a great job. So
yeah, well, it's great to see so many parents out here as well.
As the Warriors look to push the ball out, the Phantoms really need to try and get involved here as the score comes up. Waikato have cut that margin to 3 with about 4 minutes to go. Oh, great turnover by the Phantoms as they look to run the ball out. You just see what the call is there.
Both teams have been very good at riding so far.
They've gotten after it, haven't they?
It's very good at stopping the other team from clearing the ball.
As we just start to look ahead to tomorrow. Of course, the winner of this team, as I say, will go on to play the Southern Braves. That's looking to be the Northern Warriors at this stage, which should be a cool game. The Warriors and the Braves have an arrangement for a long time. They used to bill it with each other, so there's a rivalry there. The Braves and the Warriors usually do get paired together for that reason, and they have games against each other quite frequently, so really good to see those guys going up against each other. And they had a really good game earlier in the week, 8-4, if the results hold firm, so that'll be a good game tomorrow. And, of course, the Phantoms beat the Thunder in a come-from-behind win yesterday, 9-7. So that should be an exciting game tomorrow as well, if that one is how it eventuates. But as we say, still time, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, heaps of time. What do we got? Almost 7 minutes left.
As the Phantoms now just looking to clear the ball. Not going to necessarily be in any form of rush. There's no need to race this ball out.
It's another good ride. Oh, this will be a goal. Oh, couldn't handle it.
As the ball's back on the deck as they look to rip one over. Nino again. That one fires just off on the outside. Looks to try and get the quick clear. As they pop the ball around the Warriors playing game. Getting a little bit sloppy here as we sort of reach the end. Of course, it's been a massive week for these kids. They've played a game every day. They've had their one bye day, which, you know, has obviously given them some opportunity to recharge. But nonetheless, as we all know, playing lacrosse, it's a mighty big undertaking, isn't it? Sort of trying to back up day in, day out.
Yeah, it takes a bit out of you. I think I came back 4 kilos lighter.
Well, yeah, your schedule in particular was insane, wasn't it?
No, we played 13 games in 16 days. I think
So is it true, in your warm-up games, we obviously got some information about those, but you didn't drop a warm-up game either, did you?
We dropped the first one to one of the local teams, but we had a 2-hour training session that morning and then came out and we were winning the whole way, and then after three-quarter time we could tell you just ran out of legs and they ran over the top of us at the end. But after that, apart from the Finland game, we didn't drop a game. We beat England, Czech Republic, Ireland and Scotland in warm-up games.
As you see here, the player just going down here as he just stopped the clock as he just
copped a whack on the knee.
As the coaching staff now come out to have a chat. Looks like a Warrior's going to go for that one. As
Tony's not too happy.
Seen that face a few times. And not particularly thrilled, is he? As he's still having a...
Was it on the neck?
He's still having a crack. He's not particularly thrilled. As Tony comes off the field there, no doubt going into bat for his team. No one's ever accused Tony of not being passionate.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's very passionate.
But that said, he's always the first to ring up and apologise if he goes too far, isn't he? So you appreciate that. But as I say, looking ahead to tomorrow, going to be still 5 minutes to go in this game. The Phantoms are going to have an opportunity here to try and get their way back into this. They can still cut this margin, but as I say, it's only a 3-goal margin, but they've only scored 2 goals for the entirety of their game. So they're going to need to do something and do something quickly. As they're still still up on all even there. Tony livid that there was still no foul called on that one. As the ball continues to zing around. The opportunity potentially wasted here as the ball goes over and back. The ball's going to go the other way anyway. It's going to go to the Warriors, so no point calling that. As we just get our broadcast schedule in check for tomorrow. Looking forward to a massive day of lacrosse down here at City Mazda Stadium.
Going to be a warm one as well.
Going to be hot, isn't it? What are they predicting at the moment, Jesse?
The last I heard it was going to be 33.
33 degrees, so we might have to get the hydration policy out tomorrow. We can imagine that's going to be a particularly big...
It looks like the Warriors are just going to try and kill the clock here.
Look to try and move it around. So big hello to everybody who's watching. As the Phantoms look to try and get their way back into this as... Oh, nice little swim move there. Kicks on the inside. Pops that one low. And Talvin Tibb, you would have thought, has all but secured the win here for the Warriors. He scores his 3rd goal of the game, bringing up his hat-trick. And Talvin Tibb with a nice little finish there. But it was all started there again by... taking the game on Marcus Bottrell again. Interestingly, Bottrell hasn't necessarily troubled the scorers, but he's been pretty important for him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's been moving the ball really well, picking the open man.
Yeah, he's created those 2 goals in particular too, which has just made such a huge difference to these guys. Bottrell, one of the co-captains, been very, very good for him. But Talvin Tibb as well with the hat-trick, bringing up his third goal of the game.
Not sure what's going on right now.
They're back in the middle of the face-off. Still looking at 11-8 over on the far ground. As that might be another goal that's been scored over there on ground number 2. So Waikato score another one to make it 11-9. with only a minute or two to go. So Waikato Black are coming back really hard in relation to this one. As we just look at tomorrow's, as we just get tomorrow's broadcast schedule in place at the moment. So as I say, today we've got the 8. We had showed the 8 minor placing games today, so we could showcase these 8 teams. Tomorrow we've got a whole new slot of 8 teams, and they're coming from the major part of the draw now, with tomorrow the silverware being handed out. Of course, there's going to be 2 new champions with the Storm and the Braves battling it out for 5th. So what we're going to be seeing tomorrow is we're going to be starting the day off with the 3rd place games, with the Cross taking on New Zealand, and then we're going to have the Stars taking on Waikato Black. And then the Metros and the Stingrays go head-to-head at 1:45 in a game that's going to draw a lot of fans down here, I would have thought, from South Australia. You'll be sticking your head down to check that one out tomorrow, you reckon, Jess?
I've got to mow the lawn at home, but I'll see what I can do. Mrs. won't be too happy if I don't do that.
No, it's a delicate balancing act. I certainly appreciate that. But that said, though, it's a big opportunity, and we'll harp on it tomorrow because it's potentially a fantastic achievement. The Stingrays, as I say, first time South Australia would win the boys' tournament since 1992. So a huge drought will be up for grabs tomorrow as Fam gobbles that one up and says, "Thank you very much, ma'am. Can I have some more?" As Fam sells some candy as well. That's a glorious little 15 seconds for him as the Warriors look to run this out. And then, of course, we're going to be having the grand final in the women's side of the draw, which is likely going to be between the Fire and the Flames. And news over on the second ground, the Fire have made their way through to tomorrow's final. So it will be the battle for the flame emoji. The Fire from Victoria are going through to tomorrow's grand final, and they'll be taking on the Flames, who are going to be looking to reclaim the flame tomorrow. So everything on the line in what promises to be a massive game tomorrow between the Fire and the Flames. I know we're thrilled since we started that silly fire emoji thing, so it's going to be a really good one tomorrow. But of course, then the big one as well, as I say, Metro Stingrays from the boys' side. So that is going to be another fantastic game for us, as we've got a foul here. We have free clear here for the Phantoms. So if there's a foul in your defensive half against your opponent, and they have to sit in the penalty box, then you can clear the ball. You get a free clear. You can take it up to the halfway line and start anywhere you want on the halfway line. As we have a quick timeout here on the play. It should be a good day of lacrosse tomorrow. But Jesse, any ideas for best players on this one?
This one, it'd probably have to be Tauvin, I reckon. He's had a pretty good game. Very aggressive towards the net.
As we just have a look at tomorrow's broadcast schedule on your screens there at home. As I say, the day starts off tomorrow at 10:15. The boys' 3rd place game, the Cross and New Zealand. New Zealand looking to finish as they claim their best result at an under-15 tournament. And the Cross obviously looking to bounce back from today's heartbreaking loss in their semi-final. At 12 o'clock, we're going to show the Stars and Waikato. So it's Western Australia versus New Zealand, as the Stars and Waikato Black go head-to-head in a battle for 3rd place in the girls' draw. Waikato Black just dropping to Fire by 2 goals. And, of course, the Stars losing to their stablemates, the Flames, earlier today. 1:45, the boys' grand final. If you're here from South Australia, get down here tomorrow. The Stingrays, the lone South Australian team, in action on the main draw tomorrow. That's going to be a massive game for South Australia as they look to end that streak. And they'll be taking on the powerhouses, the Western Metro from the western suburbs of Victoria. So that'll be fantastic. And, of course, as I say, 3:30, the last game. We've got the Fire taking on the Flames at 3:30 for the women's tournament. It's going to be a warm one, so stay hydrated tomorrow when you come down. In the other games, of course, tomorrow we will have the Phantoms in action again tomorrow against the Thunder for 7th. The Warriors, meanwhile, will go against their rivals, the Braves, for 5th spot. And ring-a-ding-ding puts that one off the pipe. Someone called up pipe police. Hissy looking to have a crack. Wars one around the throat. Maybe selling that one a little bit.
Yeah, it was a bit of a delayed call there.
He definitely, you'd think he'd copped a slash. But, hey, got the job done. As the Phantoms are going to get a late opportunity here on a man up. 2-man up here to get their 3rd goal of the game with the clock on. One of your teammates there, Ricky Smithson, looks good lumbering out there on the field, Jesse.
Yeah, he's slowed down a bit in his old age, hasn't he?
He has a little bit.
I reckon he's got more strapping on now being a ref than he did when he was a player.
Still glorious, though, watching the big man move. As the ball zings around the top. Hissy with an opportunity. Pops one low. Fam up to the task. And that is the game. The Northern Warriors are prevailing against the Phantoms by a score of 6-2. Of course, goal scorers for today's games: Talvin Tibb with 3, Christian McKenzie with 2, and Will McIntosh with 1 goal. And of course, singles on the other side for the Phantoms, with Sam Hissey scoring their first goal, and then Finn White scoring their second goal. So that, as I say, the Phantoms now play the Thunder for 7th, the Warriors play the Braves for 5th. As we just look to wrap up here for today's action. So we just have a quick look at a couple of the quick replays from today's game. As I see here, the Warriors certainly were the more aggressive, weren't they?
Yeah, they definitely were. They got some very strong lefties over there as well.
And of course,
and I don't know if there'll be too many highlights of it, but Andy Pham, he had a great game.
Oh, he really did, didn't he? He was really good in the cage. I wouldn't be surprised if he was their MVP today. Finn White rips that one there across the hip. Puts that one past the keeper to try and give them a snippet of hope. But I think this one was the backbreaker, wasn't it? When Talvin Tibb scored. What was their 6th goal? Bottrell again had a fantastic game. He was probably my best player between him and Pham. And I didn't mind their big defenders as well. Their big defenders got involved a little bit.
Yeah, well, a lot of the work the defence would have done probably went unnoticed because the offence for the Phantoms didn't really do too much today, did they?
No, they were quite content slowing that down and getting everyone a little bit of a touch, weren't they? They didn't really take the game on as much. That said, though, I mean, look, the endeavour was certainly there, and congratulations to both coaches, Duncan McKenzie and Tony Watts, on a fantastic effort. So look, they'll both live to fight another day as they sort of settle in where they finish up on the main pecking order. But that just about wraps it up here for us here. As I say, the Fire have prevailed over Waikato on ground number 2, so they will proceed to the women's final. As we just run through and have a look at tomorrow's broadcast schedule. As I say, we bring that up as the players shake hands. So again, join us tomorrow for the Cross in New Zealand at 10:15, the Stars and Waikato Black at 12. That's the third place games. And then tomorrow's big finals, the Metros and Stingrays and the Fire and the Flames. We'll go head-to-head tomorrow at 1:45 and 3:30 p.m. Of course, before we've showed, a big thank you again to our broadcast partners, the Australian Lacrosse Association. Thank you very much for putting up with us and allowing us to do our thing. Also, Living Choice, what they put in is absolutely sensational. So big supporters of Australian lacrosse. And also to the City of West Torrens again for their support and for putting this on. Of course, I'd like to thank my team. I'd like to thank my team today. Hannah Goff for coming in earlier and commentating. Jesse Winnan, the great man, fresh back from Canada, coming back, helping me do the commentary here today. To my producer, Scotty Gill, who bailed and got lazy at about lunchtime to hand over to the interns. Christian LeRae on the camera, another sensational job. But, of course, the biggest thank yous to our interns today. Lily Davey was here earlier today, and Nick Gray. And, of course, our producer, who produced this last game all on her own, Izzy Lunig. Fantastic job. So thank you very much to our interns. And thank you to all of you at home. Jesse, thank you for coming down.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been good.
So a bit of effort, and thank you all very, very much, guys. We really appreciate your time. And we will, we'll stick around for 2 seconds because we know you want to see who won the MVP awards, and then we'll get out of here. So as if Jesse might get in trouble, so he's free to go if he wants to go because he might get in trouble.
Oh, that's all right.
We'll see how right we are with the as the umpires, as the coaches just have a look there for present their MVP awards. Do you reckon Andy Pham? I reckon Pham or Bottrell are good, or one of their big defenders. Hope Rojas or Brodie Hoyle would be another guess.
So who picks it? Is it their coach or the...
Oh, the coaches usually pick it.
They pick it together?
Well, I think so. I think they have a chat and they pick it together, and then, you know, Tony no doubt loves to talk and still talking as we can see. So we love you, Tone. Duncan McKenzie now just announcing his MVPs for the game. We see for the Phantoms today, this could be anyone. Duncan, I think we've got the two coaches that probably love to talk more than anyone, don't we?
It could be both goalies.
Yeah, Janino was very good, wasn't he?
Like, only giving up 6 is still a pretty good effort.
Yeah, defensively they were really good. I think a couple of those boys there, Aiden Couch was really, really good. And as I say that, Jacob Lightfoot from Brighton was the MVP today. And now Tony moves on to the second hour of the production. No doubt with some very poignant words. We love Tony. We love our coaches. They've done a sensational job. And of course the MVP is going to be... Where is he? He's hiding. Who is that? There we go. Maximilian Masters from the Brunswick Lacrosse Club. So congratulations to our 2 MVPs. There you go. For those who are watching at home, we've got our MVP squared away. So thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. You're watching the Australian Lacrosse Network.